Okay, so how many of us have watched the movie Prison Break? I want to believe that a lot of us have seen that movie. It was a movie that was popular back in the day, and it was about this particular guy, Michael Scofield, that I think he went to prison. He intentionally got into prison because he wanted to break out of prison with his brother or get his brother out of prison. The details are quite hazy in my mind now, but this particular case we're discussing today just reminds me of that movie, Prison Break. The case is about a South African man that was convicted. He went to prison and somehow he managed to break himself out in the most, would I call it absurd way, in the most, I don't know, the most interesting way. And yeah, let's get right into this case. Let's get right into the story. Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Nandi and I'm your host on this channel. As always, you're welcome to Sleuthville. If this is your first time here, please don't make it your last. Click on that subscribe button now to subscribe to the channel. Also, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up because I'm very sure you're going to enjoy this video. So don't forget to give it a thumbs up and let's drop our comments, our thoughts in the comment section down below. Okay, before we get into this video, I just want to give a disclaimer that this video is for educational purposes only, and the information I'm going to be sharing here is based off of my research and details I've gotten online. Also, this video is sort of like a discussion, so I'm going to be discussing with someone here. So yeah, if you see me looking in that direction, it's because I'm discussing with somebody. Okay, on the 3rd of May 2022, a fire broke out at cell 35 at the Magang Correctional Center in South Africa. Now, this particular cell was said to be housing a man known as Thabo Bester. And when this fire broke out, people could not understand how a fire was able to break out in a cell. Like, how was the stuff that was used to make the fire outbreak, how was it able to get into the cell and all of that? However, by the time people were able to gather and try to put out the fire, it was already too late. The body in that particular cell was said to have been burnt beyond recognition. And like I said, the person that was being kept in that cell was Thabo Bester. That was how he was said to have died. His body was moved out. People mourned, I guess. People mourned. I don't know if they mourned him. The news made rounds that Thabo Bester was dead and he was burnt in his cell. Tell me why. Tell me why June 2022 of the same year, a man was said to have photographed a particular popular medical doctor, a doctor in South Africa. She was a celebrity doctor. A man was said to have photographed this doctor with a particular man, and when this picture made it to the internet, everywhere was turned upside down. Everywhere was shaking, like, what's going on here? Because it was said that the particular man in that picture was Thabo Bester, the same person that made rounds in the news that he died in his cell. He died in jail. How was he, just a few months later, photographed with a popular celebrity doctor at a supermarket, at a mall? Let's get right into how this whole thing happened. I know you guys are feeling like, what's going on here? But I'm here to give you guys the full gist. So for us to get a better understanding of what's happened here, I feel like I need to tell you guys a little bit about who Thabo Bester is. Thabo Bester was born in Soweto on the 13th of June 1986, and he was born to a single mother. His mother was Maria Mabaso, and his mother was not able to register him when he was born, so he didn't have any kind of valid ID card. He didn't have a birth certificate or stuff like that. And it was also said that his mother did not have a birth certificate. She didn't have any of those things. She was not registered as well, because I think her own mother was like a farmer or something. So his mother was not registered. He was not registered as well. And you
1986.
Yeah, 1986.
The guy is actually pretty young then.
He's pretty young. How old will he be? Like, let's calculate it. 1986, he should be like 30 something. He's not up to 40. I don't think he's up to 40.
38.
38 years old. So yes, he's actually pretty young. Because he was not registered, he did not have any data in the system, and we're going to see how this information is important as we continue in the story. We do not know so much about who his father is. There's not so much information about who his father is. As little as when Thabo was 17 years old, it was said that he was jailed, he was imprisoned for committing fraud. Like, from his very young age, he became a fraudster. And then he went to jail, came out, and then when he was 19 years again, he was imprisoned a second time. And at this period, like, he was very, very popular in his city, in his community as a fraudster. Like, they already knew him as a proper con artist.
These things were happening in South Africa, right?
Yes, in South Africa. It was happening in South Africa.
And like doing face-to-face camps.
Yes, face-to-face criminal activities. And so I was saying that there was even, like, he was very, very good with, he was a very, very, a well-spoken man, or boy as at that time. He was a well-spoken boy, and there was even this story I read that he was able to defraud some women that had children in a particular school where he said that he was schooling. And there was even one particular parent that was even willing to pay for his flights and give him certain amounts of money because he said he was trying to get a scholarship or something like that. I'm not quite sure. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But he was able to defraud this woman, and she paid for his flights, paid for certain things, gave him money. It was with the intervention of another parent that she was called. Even she was on her way driving him to the airport when she got a call from another parent saying, "Oh, this little boy is a fraudster." So yeah, he was well known as a proper con artist. Remember, he said that he was not registered in the system. So because he was not registered in the system, he used several aliases he had several aliases. He had several names. Today he'll meet somebody, defraud them, and give them a particular name. Say it's John. Tomorrow he'll meet somebody else, tell them he's Michael, defraud them.
But why did the mother not register? Like, why is she not registered in the system? And then she gave birth, and the boy too was not registered.
So I guess it's a thing of maybe illiteracy or something. Maybe the particular hospital or where he was born, they just did not pursue that thing of registering him in the system. And because the mother herself was not registered, she probably did not feel it was important to register her son as well in the system. So the fact that his name and his identity was not even in the country's database, it made it hard for the police to sort of catch him. Now, like I said, he went to jail when he was 19, and he eventually got out. And when Thabo got out of jail, it was said that this particular young man decided to R-word 2 models and ended up unaliving his girlfriend. So let me just give you a background story of how this whole thing happened. Now, when Thabo got out, I'm sure he devised new means of doing his fraud, committing his fraud, and expanding the way in which he committed his criminal activities. So this particular guy, Thabo, at some point in his life was known as the Facebook rapist, and this was why. So he would pose as a, what's it called, these people that are into like a model agent. So he claimed that he probably had a modeling agency or something like that, and he would put out auditions that, they're looking for girls, they need girls for certain things, they need girls to come for certain events or to do certain events, things like that, or for certain fashion shows. And these ladies would believe him, because sometimes it was said that he was even mentioning popular American celebrities that they were going to be present, or that they were the ones organizing these shows, and this just made it like really believable, coupled with the fact that he was a very, very good speaker. He was well spoken, so they would believe this guy and they would come for the auditions. And when these girls come for the auditions, you say, you can't use your phones during these auditions, phones are not allowed, personal belongings are not allowed. And this guy would literally gather all of their things and put it in a bag. Like, as they're entering, you say, you need to drop this, is not allowed. Do you know what he would do? he would pack, when these girls have gotten into the hall or somewhere where the audition was happening, he would gather all their stuff and run away with it. Like escape, literally escape with their phones and everything.
Wow.
And there was literally no audition. Like they would be waiting for an audition to start, only for them to see that there was literally no audition and that Thabo was nowhere to be found. And then it was said that even sometimes he would call these girls maybe personally to a hotel room with the hopes of, okay, they would go there with the hopes of maybe, because he's a model agent, they will go with the hopes that maybe he was going to make them popular, make them modeling stars, make them international models. And then when they go to meet him in his hotel room, he would force himself on them and R-word them and escape. He would even threaten some of them sometimes, threaten them, tell them your money or your life, and they would have to surrender their phones and their personal belongings and all the cash on them, and he would literally escape with these things. And it was so hard to catch him because there was no identity. He was not in the system. So
Yeah, that's why he was involved in criminal activities. He
yes,
was not registered in the system, so there's no way to say you can get employment. But that's not an excuse, though.
yes. The girlfriend that I just told you that he unalived, he met her at a BMW dealership. So her name was Nomfundo. And he met her at a BMW dealership. She worked at that BMW dealership store or shop. So he went there. I think he wanted to get a car or something. And when he went there, he met her and they spoke. They spoke for a while. They exchanged numbers and they continued talking from there, exchanging messages, calls. And then he went ahead to tell her that he was working at a TV production, like as usual, that he was working at a TV production and that he felt like she was, her stature and everything was something that was going to, like she had a good modeling stature and structure, and that he felt like she was going to be the next big thing, So he sold her those dreams of, oh, I'm going to make you a model, you're going to be big and all of that, and that she was going to be a very, very good fit to be in a reality TV show, to be a TV star. Although Thabo was living in a very, very far place. He was living in Durban in South Africa, and this lady, Nomfundo, was living in Johannesburg, South Africa as well. So it was like a 600-kilometer distance, but they tried their best to keep in touch. So they were talking for a very long time. 8 months after they met, Nomfundo told him that she had gotten another job and that she was going to start by October of that same year. So when Thabo had this, he was like, oh, this calls for celebration and stuff. So he flew her to Cape Town. So he flew her there so that they could celebrate her new job and everything, lodged her in a 5-star hotel, and he was just spoiling her silly, or she thought he was spoiling her silly. They stayed in that hotel for 2 nights, after which they now left and went to another hotel where they were staying at. So when they got to this other hotel, his girlfriend Nomfundo discovered that, oh, she was not the only girl that he was talking to. Like, she thought they were exclusive, that it was just he and her, but apparently he was talking to so many other girls, and he started quarreling, like he started the fight and normal relationship fights and everything. Now, aside the fact that he was even talking to other girls, he was also talking to his ex-girlfriend, and I think maybe she knew his ex-girlfriend, so that was part of the stuff that started the whole fight. However, they were able to settle it that night. They settled, and then they went to bed. Around 2 a.m. that night, this guy woke his girlfriend up with a knife, pointing a knife at her and telling her that she should surrender her phones, surrender all her money to him. Like, his girlfriend, his actual girlfriend, he threatened her, told her that she should give him the pin to her app, like her banking app, collect the pin to her ATM card, every single thing. This guy literally collected it from this girl. In the whole process of threatening her and trying to get these details from her, they got into a fight, like a wrestle. And while they were wrestling, like, the knife went into her chest, but she was not still there though. So if it was somebody that was sensible, he would have even tried to get help for her at that point in time. But do you know that he did not get help for this girl? And 5 hours later, she was even still alive. He now started threatening her that she should give him the password to her laptop. After he got the password to her laptop, he took the laptop with him and went outside. Like, he locked the door to the room and went outside. Then he told the receptionist that, oh, his girlfriend was still sleeping, that they shouldn't bother waking her up, that she's still resting, that they could wake her up, I think 5 hours later or something. They should just allow her to rest. And the receptionist and the people there, I think the owner of the hotel or the motel, whatever, where they were, was even there. So he asked the owner of the place if the person was even heading towards Cape Town. And the owner told him that yes, that he was going towards Cape Town. And the owner of the place gave him a ride to Cape Town, not knowing that there was somebody in the room lying lifeless at that point in time. And he told them not to wake her up until 2 p.m. that day. He left by 7 a.m., told them not to wake her up until 2 p.m. When he got to Cape Town, he immediately took a flight back to Durban, where he was staying the same day, later that evening. And by that time, like around 2 p.m., they would have gone to check for his girlfriend, only to see that she was already in a pool of her own blood and she was lifeless in the room. So they immediately alerted the police officials, and they started an investigation trying to locate Thabo. He was eventually caught on the 6th of October 2011, where he was committing another fraud. Like, he literally went to hijack somebody's car. He hijacked the car and he crashed the car, and that was how the police were able to find him, and they caught him, and he was arrested and he was charged to court for the murder of his girlfriend and also raping 2 other victims.
But around 2011, that means he was still very young.
He was still very young, because we calculated that he was 38 as at 2022, 1986.
Wow.
So if as at 2022, 25, can you imagine? So he was just 25 years old. Somebody that started as young as 17 years old. I mean, by 25, he would have already become a baba in the game now. He would have already become a baba in the game. So when they started the court hearing and everything, he was apologetic, and he said, oh, that the victims that he raped, that he never intended to R-word them, that he just wanted to rob them, steal their belongings and everything. But however, when he saw their legs, and he was filled with lust, and he was like, why not? If not, why not? So he decided to take advantage of the girls, and that for his girlfriend that he murdered, that he did not actually intend to murder her. He also claimed that he was a victim of circumstance because he came from a poor background. He even claimed, can you imagine, he said that he did not know who his mother was, that he grew up with his that he grew up with his grandmother, and that he was taken advantage of by one of his grandmother's friends, that he was R-worded by his grandmother's friends, and that's messed up with his head, and it's made him that he was a victim of sexual violence, basically, and it's messed up with his psyche. After he told all these his stories and his lies, the judge was not swayed by it at all. They gave him a life sentence for unaliving his girlfriend, and he was also sentenced to 25 years each for the girls that he R-worded. So basically, he was supposed to spend the rest of his life in prison, and at 25 years old, he went to jail, and he stayed there up until this incident where he decided to do the whole prison break stuff. Now that we have like a background as to who Thabo Bester is, let's talk a bit about Dr. Nandi. So Dr. Nandi is a celebrity doctor. She's quite popular in South Africa, and she's well established. Like, she's rich. She has money. She comes from wealth. So we don't really know the connection before this time between Dr. Nandi and Thabo Bester. However, Dr. Nandi comes into the story when she went to a morgue, like a mortuary, demanding for a body. And then when she got to the mortuary, they were like, oh, okay, so you're here to claim. She was like, she's here to claim a body. And I think they said she even went with her father or something like that. I'm not quite sure. But she went there demanding for a body, And then in fact, she did not just go once. She went a couple of times, demanding for several bodies. She would claim that, oh, she's related to them, they're her relatives and all of that. And these people would give out the bodies to this lady. And I'm just asking, like, how did they, like, can anybody just go to a mortuary and say, oh, please give me this body, this person is my cousin or this person is my brother, and they'll just give out the person without any form of identification?
There's more to that, because I don't think it's possible you just go to mortuary and say you know this person,
Yeah.
you are related to this person, and they'll just release the person's corpse to you. I think there's more to it, or except she's working with an insider.
Except that, or maybe she was bribing them.
Yes.
Maybe she was bribing them to collect these bodies. But basically, she would take these bodies with her, and the whole plan was that these bodies she was taking was going to be used to exchange for Thabo Besta's body. So, because I said she went there like a couple of times. So she would go, she would collect their bodies, but the whole prison break stuff would not work out, and she would go and dump these bodies in a river or something, because they said some of the bodies they found them floating in rivers. So she would collect another body, they will not be able to execute their plan. She will go and dump the body until the last one, when she took the last body that she took, and she then went to she planned with some of the people that were working in that Magaung Correctional Center. And this correctional center, I feel like they were even saying that it's one of the, like, top prisons in South Africa. Like, the security there is supposed to be very, very tight, very, very tight, like a maximum prison exactly. But it turned out that they were able to carry out their prison break. So, obviously, they had already bribed some of the prison officials. And then on that day when the whole prison break was going to happen, Thabo Besta went to complain to the prison officials that he was not comfortable in the cell where he was staying anymore, that he felt like his life was being threatened, and that he wanted to go to an isolated cell where it was just going to be only him, that he felt like his life was being threatened and everything. So they moved him basically from that cell where he was staying in to cell 35 where the incident happened on that day. So when he was moved there, later on that day, a fire now broke out in that particular cell. And because the last person that they believed to have been there was Thabo Besta, they concluded that the body that they found that was burnt beyond recognition was Thabo Besta's body. Unknown to them, Dr. Nandi had already brought in, like, the body that she got from the mortuary. Yes, the corpse that she got from the mortuary. She had already brought it in, and they found a way to put that body in Thabo Besta's cell. Then they now moved Thabo Besta out of the prison, obviously with the help of the prison guards and everything. So that was how this guy was able to escape from prison, from a maximum prison for that matter.
What's the connection with both of them for her to want the guy to come out of prison? Is it that he runs some kind of shady?
That is what we don't know.
Shady stuff for her or something, or
exactly.
He works for top people.
Exactly. I don't know if that's the case, but do you know that this Dr. Nandi is even married? Like, she's literally married with kids, although people were saying that she was already separated from her husband. Well, I don't think that they were already divorced yet. So, but she was already married. Do you know that instead of them to now be living a low-key life, they didn't live a low-key life at all. They were going about their business, traveling, doing stuff. I mean, you would expect that they would just go to a particular place and hide and lay low, or travel out to a different country or stay somewhere else. But they were going about doing stuff until that particular time when somebody saw them at a supermarket and took a picture. Fun fact, do you know that the person that took that picture did not even know that the guy in the picture was Thabo Besta? So the person took the picture with the intention of, he knew who Dr. Nandi was, and he knew that she was married and she was a popular celebrity. So he seen her with another man, and they were probably in a compromising position, behaving mushy and everything. The person was like, oh, I'm going to get content, I'm going to take a picture and probably sell it to the blogs. Only for this man to take a picture and then post it and people saw that this person in the picture was actually Thabo Bester, who was supposed to be in jail, dead rather, thank you, who was even supposed to be dead or in jail. Like, how was he now alive and moving around with this celebrity doctor? So that was when people now started making noise and talking, and the pictures started circulating, and then the authorities now got involved. Do you know that the authorities now put out a statement that, in fact, that body that they found then in Thabo Bester's prison, that they had already run tests on that body, and that the body did not belong to Thabo Bester. And somehow they had this information since, but they were like, they didn't let the information out to the public. So when this whole thing was happening, Thabo and Dr. Nandi ran away. So they ran to Tanzania. They escaped to Tanzania. However, the authorities were able to catch them on the 7th of April 2023, which was just last year. Wow. So last year, 7th of April 2023, they were able to catch Dr. Nandi and Thabo Bester, and they caught them with a lot of incriminating things. Like, they were with a lot of passports that had different names, but their passports but had like different names.
And that means the doctor is involved in whatever it is he was doing.
Exactly. Like, they were running the whole con business together, but people have just been trying to connect, because this lady is actually quite established. Like, she's a popular medical doctor from a rich family. So that's what people are trying to say. What's the connection between the both of them? Anyways, they started their trial, and so far they've been going for hearings. Like, I don't think that they've concluded with the court's hearings up until today, but there have been a lot of like theories that people online have been bringing. So I think people online have been saying that maybe, just maybe, because Thabo Bester is a manipulative person, maybe he manipulated Dr. Nandi into doing what she did, or maybe there's something that he has on her.
That's actually very possible.
Yeah, I think so. So they're saying that he probably has something on hand, or he has probably been manipulating her into doing all of these things. While some people are saying that no, that she doesn't seem like somebody that can be manipulated. Also coupled with the fact that there's this picture that has come out on the internet about one of their court hearings. So Thabo and Dr. Nandi had not seen for a very, very long time. And then when they eventually saw in court, they were acting all cozy and mushy together. And people were like, is this the person you're saying this man is actually manipulating? Does she look like somebody that is being manipulated?
Or maybe it's just love.
Maybe it's just love. I mean, that is another possibility. Maybe it's just love. Nobody really knows, but the case is still ongoing. People are also asking that, how and why did Dr. Nandi just throw away her successful career because of a con artist? Like, she decided to throw away her life to break somebody out of prison. Anyways, Dr. Nandi presently in court is saying that she was coerced into doing all of the things that she did, and that she was being manipulated or something like that, and that she was also going to give out the details to the public when the time is right. Dr. Nandi's parents as well are also facing charges, because when she broke, you remember I told you that she went with her father at one point in time to the morgue to get corpse, and also I think when she broke Thabo Bester out of prison, she had to move her parents out of her parents' house, out of the house they were staying in, so that she and Thabo could stay in the house, because apparently the house had a higher fence than the other house where they were staying in. So she had to move her parents' house. So the police believe that her parents were also in on it, like they were aware of what was going on.
And for the dad to be involved in getting the dead body out of the mortuary, then it's part of it.
Yes. So they're saying the parents are also a part of it. And yeah, the case is also ongoing. There was also this thing about her going to... So after Thabo Bester was believed to have been burnt to death in his cell, do you know that she still went to the mortuary to claim Thabo Bester's body? that body that was not Thabo Bester. She still went to the mortuary to go and claim it, and she was saying that the body was her husband, that she was married to Thabo Bester, and that the body belonged to her. And then that was when it now started raising concerns. But you've been coming here to be claiming people. You're saying this person is your relative, this person is your brother, this person is your. So why are you coming to claim that this person is your husband again? And people knew that she was married to a certain man. So that whole thing about her being married to Thabo Bester, now it was part of the things that even sparked the whole investigation as well. So yeah, that's the story of how Thabo Bester became Michael Scofield and broke out of prison. And it's just I don't know how to feel about this story. Please let me know your thoughts about this particular case in the comment section. The case is actually still ongoing. And they have not, as at the point where when I'm recording this, they are yet to reach a verdict, I want to believe. Or if they have, please let me know in the comment section as well. But let's know your thoughts. Do you think that they could have actually carried out, like if they had laid low? I feel like if they had laid low, nobody would have known so much about this whole thing.
And given the fact that police said they already checked the body and it was not belonging to the suspect that was supposed to be in prison.
But they didn't loud it. They didn't make noise about it. Alright guys, we've come to the end of this video. If you have watched this video up until this point, please subscribe to this channel, click on that subscribe button right now. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and drop your comments in the comment section as well. I like to say stay safe and stay informed, and until my next video, bye.